And I'll be honest with you, I haven't talked to our next guest in a long time on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Let me welcome back, and it's been way too damn long, former Hoosier, 2000 Mr. Basketball from Bloomington North, and he has done really everything and continues to do everything that we would love to do in our life. Jared Jeffries joins us. You know, I was kind of, Jared, lining out your career path, basketball, fishing, and esports. You've had the best life of all time, brother. Seriously.
I can't complain at all, man. To be able to my little brother always says it. Growing up, we collected basketball cards, and I've been on basketball cards. We play video games all the time. I'm the president of a video game company based here in L.A., and then we grew up fishing, and I had a fishing show. So, I mean, all that stuff that we grew up doing and we love doing, I've been a part of it and had a chance to do it.
So Jared Jeffries joins us. I know the basketball would be on the top of the list. I'm just assuming that right now. But where would you rank other things that you have done? Because that's what I've always admired about you. I mean, you've been a multifaceted dude, man, from Bloomington, let alone. That's pretty awesome to see, man, that type of growth. It really is. But what would be second on your list?
Definitely fishing. I was unfortunate this year. I'm going to have to postpone my fishing show for 1 year just because I'm so busy with this esports job. It's a crash course and one of the most interesting things I've ever done. But fishing, I mean, getting a chance to go to Vanuatu, Bermuda, Costa Rica, Puerto Rico. I went to Panama. I'm going to Colombia coming up here soon. To be able to travel the world and fish was one of the coolest things I've ever done.
You know, it's funny. We got a lot of people around here that love to fish, and, you know, it's more than just kind of a weekend, throw it out at Lake Monroe, go down to, Hardin Ridge or wherever and throw your line in. It's people do this and, take pictures and, try to win awards and things of that nature. How'd you get interested in going next level fishing back in the day?
So it's kind of funny, man. There was a guy, I went jet skiing one day with some friends of mine out on the lake, and as we were coming down there by the fishing shed, I see this guy with this really huge boat rig. So I kind of go over to the guy and say, "What are you catching on this lake with that?" And he opens up his cooler, live well, and he has about 4 of 15-plus pound wipers. And I'm like, "Where did you catch those?" He goes, "I'm going out tomorrow again. Come with me." Hop on a boat. A guy named Bill Lincoln. Him and my dad to this day are lifelong friends. We're lifelong friends. And Bill got my dad turned on to it, and then I bought my dad a boat when I got drafted. We started fishing for wipers down at the lake, and then I moved to Florida to work out for the draft. And my first couple times, marlin fishing and grouper fishing in Florida.
Yeah,
I was just hooked.
Man, see, I've always felt this way. I'm a big talker, man. I'm going on vacation and I want to get out there and I want to catch some snapper and I want to catch some grouper and then I end up drinking and like passing out next to the pool. I never get out there, but I admire that. But I always thought that would be more exciting doing it in the Gulf or in the ocean than it would, for example, at Lake Monroe. Where's the satisfaction go if you're throwing your line in, for example, Lake Monroe, like I'm assuming you probably did in your early years?
I mean, when you're a little kid, it doesn't matter if it's a bluegill or if it's a northern or if it's a walleye. It's the thrill of catching a fish. But I got to the point where I was traveling to the South Pacific every year, and you're topwater fishing for 50 to 100 pound fish in 25 feet of water. So you see the fish come out of the coral and just smoke these baits, and that to me was just one of the most thrilling things ever because you're fighting this fish, you're holding on, 30 to 40 pounds of drag at strike. It was big time.
That's awesome. Jared Jeffries on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So you're taking a hiatus from modern fishing this year and you're getting back to it next year. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, correct.
That's awesome, man. Where was your place? Was it Lake Monroe where you grew up fishing more than anything else, or Lake Lemon? Where was it?
Probably Lake Lemon a little bit more, but I would say Yellowwood because I live right on East 46 right there, right on the Brown County, Monroe County line.
Yep.
So you'll see 2 long hill driveways. Those are both of my driveways. One of them is my grandma, one of them is mine. You still live there right now, or do you live in Florida now? I'm in LA now full time for the video games, but I still have a place in Florida and my place in New York.
That is well done. Jared Jeffries joins us. Okay, fishing aside here, which is awesome. When did you get that call? Because listen, you were the director of player personnel for the Nuggets,
Yep.
and you were still in basketball, and that's an awesome job to have in basketball, post-playing career. But who reached out to you with this offer you could not refuse when it came to esports?
Rick Fox kind of stepped in and he said, I want you to meet our new managing partner, operator. So I gave him a call, a guy named Stratton Slavos, and Stratton was unbelievable. He gave me about 2 weeks to come out here, be in LA, be around what they were doing and kind of the atmosphere. And I loved it. And there was so many similarities between traditional sports and esports. And I said, you know what? I can do this. Like, it'll be fun. An absolute worst case scenario, I go back to being a basketball coach or being an NBA front office. So this was my opportunity to do something new and exciting.
Yeah. So again, you haven't that you ended it well. So if you wanted to go back and get involved in an organization, it'd be fairly seamless for you to do, is what you're saying too.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody when I first did it thought I was a moron, but then after the Cavaliers invested, the Golden State Warriors invested, Houston Rockets. We have investments from the Yankees, Edmonton Oilers, St. Louis Cardinals. After all these mainstream sports started getting in, about 3 or 4 months after I took the job, I looked a whole lot smarter.
Is that what the Pacers are doing with the esports, with the basketball teams now? Is that what they're doing?
Well, that's the NBA. The NBA itself put together a 2K league. So every year when the league comes out, you're able to kind of scout and find 5 players to play on your 2K team, and they travel and play just like any other team. Are
you good at esports, or is that a requirement?
I have 2 kids, so having 2 small children takes away most of your gaming experience, because when you get home, they get home. The last thing they're going to do is let you sit up there and play and them not play. So I'm getting back into it now. Just because of the office I'm in, I get a chance to play a lot of different games every day. But it'd be the equivalent of, you trying to get out there and play basketball against me. It just doesn't look right.
Me? Did you just... Wait a minute. Holy crap. Dude, I thought I had good game until I had you on. Damn, now I feel terrible. I can't believe we never got together on Court 1 at the Hyper back in the day. I cannot believe that.
I could not believe it.
I was down there I was probably down there. See, Richard English wouldn't let me play. I had to play down there with the badminton guys, I think. So. Yeah,
well, we probably would have had you on, but you would have been the guy that if we had to get a fill-in after about 10 games, if we needed a fill-in, we'd bring you on. Let that guy play. He's been here all day. Let him play.
That is well done right there. That is awesome. So you guys do Fortnite with Echo Fox?
Yeah, so we have a lot of our players do it. We're in the process right now completing contracts with 3 streamers, and as soon as they get a competitive server, we're going to have a team, but we will have a very, very good team.
What is so addictive about Fortnite? My kid's 12, and he tells me that it's, and I haven't yet to I've made it be known, I haven't let him play yet, but what's so addictive about it?
I think that it's the perfect online community video game for all ages, genders, and races. Because when you log on, you can log on with your friends, and when you're in a group with your friends, you take out the toxicity of a Call of Duty, of a Gears, of a Madden. When you're playing against somebody that you can't find anywhere in the world, and they're able to say racist, sexist, and derogatory things to you, Fortnite has found a way to eliminate that as much as possible. You're able to use realistic guns, but not too realistic where the kids, become obsessed with guns. They're kind of fun, and the bullets it's not too accurate. Gotcha. And you get kills, but there's not blood, their heads falling off. There's no screaming involved. When you revive people, you just revive them with bandages, and they drink blue juice. It's done just an amazing job, in my opinion, of the gender equality and the age gap of a lot of other games.
Yeah, that's a good direction they're going to. So I know little about it. I probably should dive into it a little bit more. Jared Jeffries joins us. What's your favorite as far as what you guys cover?
My favorite game that we cover is a game called League of Legends, and I didn't know anything about it before I took this game. And it's probably our most viewed and most popular team. To me, it's just amazing, the analytics behind it, the composition of, last year I recruited guys. They have agents in the space, so I talk to agents. I have team houses that they live in. It's just hilarious.
Wow. So Jared Jeffries, Echo Fox, a part of esports, taking a hiatus from modern fishing. He'll be back with that coming up next year. Longtime NBA player, and he was an NBA executive as well. It's funny, we were having a conversation, Jared, about this before you came on. Where do you think we're going as far as the creation of super teams? Because this, there was a point when the fans used to say, it was so noble when a superstar caliber player took less money to go someplace with designs on winning because this player wanted to win, wanted a ring, wanted a trophy, whatever. And it's no longer that. Where are we going with this right now? Are we going to a point where you think Adam Silver's going to have to step in and try to implement a rule or two to try to stay against it, or are we still going to go down this path?
I think that it was just a perfect storm that you'll never see again. So I think that a lot of NBA fans or the basketball fans have to understand that exactly what happened to put together this Golden State team was a lot of financial situation of the current NBA, Steph Curry's ankles, and the willingness of Kevin Durant to go to a team and not be the number one player. I think DeMarcus Cousins, you have yet to see what's going to happen, but and Golden State got lucky with not lucky with Draymond Green, but they overshot where they saw him being as a player. If Draymond Green was that good, Festus Ezeli was still picked before him. So if Golden State knew that Draymond was going to be better than Festus, why wouldn't they have taken him first in the first round? So they didn't see Draymond being as good. They liked him, but they didn't love him. Klay Thompson slipped in the draft for no reason. Steph Curry went behind Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn, which he never should have gone behind them. Then he has ankle problems and signs for $10 million, probably the best contract ever. And then the cap jumps $20 million in a 2-year span that gives them enough cap space to go get Kevin Durant. So it was just a plethora of things that happened that put together this team, and you won't see it ever again.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, because you could, if you wanted to, at least a little bit blame Houston's situation on not having the cap space to keep James Harden and having to make a decision in OKC on James Harden. Therefore, he goes to Houston, and in a roundabout way, that began a creation in Houston with that team, right?
Yeah, and they didn't. And the sad part is that they sacrificed James Harden because of Serge Ibaka and because of James Harden going out during the finals. When they played Miami that year in the finals, James Harden went out a few nights during the finals. They were against it. And, him going out and worrying about signing Serge Ibaka the next year cost you James Harden. That's the reality of the story. And now, before they just waived Carmelo, they were facing a $300 million tax bill. So the one decision of not re-signing a player you knew was going to be really talented because he went out and Serge Ibaka almost cost you $300 million, that's tough.
So Jared Jeffries on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I tell you what, I want to keep you on here a little bit longer to talk basketball, but I don't know if I've ever been able to go from high-level basketball to video games to fishing ever in my life here. Oh, I forgot. And hyper. I put in the hyper in there too.
You put in the hyper too.
Jared Jeffries joins us. What do you think about what the Pacers are doing right now? And maybe we'll back that up just a little bit. Were you surprised at all at the evolution of what you saw from former Hoosier Victor Oladipo last year?
I was so surprised because when I was in Denver, I felt like we made a better offer for Paul George. And even on a 1-year basis, we made a better offer, I felt like. And Indiana was adamant that they had a better offer, and it ended up being the OKC deal. And he proved pretty much the whole league wrong because once the whole league kind of saw the deal that we would have had in place for him, they thought we had the better deal, but we didn't. I mean, Victor had an amazing year, and the sky's the limit for him. I mean, he looks like a D-Wade caliber 2 guard right now.
Yeah. I mean, and for this team, he became what Paul George never materialized here, and that was, first of all, you've been around here. I mean, people around here love and embrace people from around here, and people that want to be around here. Therefore, you have Vic, and then Vic's game evolved into what we saw, high production, all-star, and a guy that was capable, as we saw, of closing games. And as good as Paul George has been and still is, he never really was that, Jared, here. No.
I mean, if you look back at the number of game winners, I think he was at one point, he was like 1 for 15 at Indiana or something like that on game winners. It's on his personality. And he has a little bit of quit in him. He's a way more talented player than I ever was. But there are certain nights you just see he doesn't have it. And I think that people respect, especially in Indiana, I think the Coach Knight legacy still kind of hangs around there. You got to play hard every night. And if you play hard every night, you'll get so much love and respect from the whole state. And Victor, coming from Indiana, coming back there and doing that every single night, night in, night out, is beloved and deserves to be beloved.
Did you think the Pacers were taken initially when you saw that deal for Sabonis and Oladipo for Paul George last summer?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was a bad deal because Victor had always put up very good numbers, but there were so many two guards, Aaron Afalo, Evan Fournier, and Victor, that came out of Orlando with really solid numbers, and when they went somewhere else and had to play in a team system and the team setup, weren't capable of doing it.
Yeah. So Jared Jeffries with us. What was the offer from Denver?
It included.
Was Gary Harris in it?
Yeah, Gary was in it. A pick, and there was one. I forget. There was one other, maybe two picks. It was something else. But at that time, though, we felt like Gary was on a high trajectory of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting how that could work too, and really, man, if you remember last summer and then going into the season, that deal was maybe one of the most clown deals by NBA folks in history, and then man, they just I like where they're going right now too. I mean, honestly, it was not a big splash this offseason for the Pacers, but they filled a lot of gaps that I thought were obvious with McDermott and with O'Quinn and with Tyreke Evans that, if they stay healthy, I think will help them out a great deal.
Yeah. The Tyreke deal will be tough because I think now in the league you need, shooting. I think that's the most important thing. But for Indiana to make the next step, if Miles Turner makes the step I think he can make, Miles should be somewhere just behind Karl Towns. Like he's such a talented player. He has some kind of off nights, but he's a good shooter that can rim protect. And I think he looks awkward when he runs sometimes, but he can guard on the ball.
Yeah, we've watched him. There've been videos showing it looks like that he's certainly focused in what he's trying to be. It's funny. I think if there's a guy out there, and I back him up, there are a lot of Pacer fans that have kind of reached the ceiling with him this past year because he really didn't improve numbers wise or anything. He had some good games, but then had some really bad lagging type of games. But I think that he wants to be what he believes he can be. But man, this year's going to be really big for him to show exactly what he can do production-wise here. Yeah,
and also, man, whenever somebody comes in and you think that, hey, I'm going to be the man this year, you saw it last year a little bit with Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins had a bad year after Jimmy Butler came in. Not that it's Oladipo's fault, but when Miles sees that trade, he thinks his season's going to be totally different. He's going to get more shots, more post touches. Then Victor comes in and has a year. He does, and he ends up being a spot-up shooter, position player. Take what you can get whenever you can get it. There's a mental, let's say the word. There's a mental fatigue that happens over that night in, night out. And that's why you see him be very up and down as the year goes on.
So Jared Jeffries with us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. All right, I'm going to go back to fishing for a moment. The toughest and longest catch you had to hang with to reel it in. What's it been?
We were fishing in Mexico and we were using like a small goggle eye. It looks like a shad, and that we were catching 30, 40-pound tuna, nothing big, maybe 50 pounds. We get a big hit on the left rigger. And the fish is peeling off line faster than normal. We kind of lock into it. We could tell that was a big fish. We ended up getting a yellowfin that was 275 pounds on 30-pound line. Took us 5.5 hours.
So is that, you got to drag it with the boat, right? That's just not you out there like Captain Quint and Jaws trying to reel it in, right?
I mean, two of my buddies running the boat, and you have a harness on, so it's relatively not easy, but if you lock in, it's just you and that fish for 5.5 hours, and who's tougher? You know, like your hands start cramping, your legs start cramping, and you drink about 20 beers and just bring it on in.
Are you drinking beers on that show too? Are you?
Oh man, listen.
You got to throw them back on the show.
I can't drink beers. I can't drink beers on the show, but there have been many a shotgun in between camera takes. Get one down.
See, just as we know, just for the sake of knowing that makes us all feel a lot better. You know what I mean? Hey, before I let you go, what do you think about the Archie Miller era after year number 1 down in Bloomington?
I'm excited about it. I think that he is exactly what the university needed. You got to have young energy in there that's positive, that's a real person. I got to the point with Crean that just his insecurity, and not say insecurities, his inability to reach out to the fan base in a genuine manner had really concerned me. And I think Archie, he does that. He reaches out. He actually enjoys people. He's there. If there's a genuineness to him as a coach, that'll help you get recruits and retain recruits. You got to be careful rolling over players, you know, taking away guys' scholarships to get this player. You know, if a guy commits to you, commit to him. And I know Archie has that, and I'm very excited about it.
What was your relationship with Crean, by the way? Did you have one at all?
A little bit, man. I was never a big fan. I knew him from before. I knew he was always hunting for new jobs. You know, that was the thing. Like, he left Marquette the way he did. Even at Indiana, I heard rumblings and rumors that he was contacting Tennessee, contacting Alabama, still looking for other jobs. I don't respect that. If you're at Indiana, if you're at a university like that, you got to be 2 feet in.
Yeah. Have you talked to Archie at all, being a fan of his?
Yeah. Yeah, Dr. Glass was very good to me in the recruitment and signing process of Archie. He took a lot of my input, and then once we got Archie, I talked to him a lot last year. You know, even through the recruiting process this year, you know, players that he was looking at, and I looked at him too. So he was great.
Did you say Dr. Glass? Is he a doctor?
Yeah. I think he is, isn't he?
I don't know. I call him Fred. That makes me feel bad. I say, ain't no way in hell I'm going to have him on here calling him Dr. Glass. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah, what's up, Fred?
Fred. I just know I felt bad. I said, man, I'm not Dr. Glass. I'm going to call him that and see if I'm going to call him that sometime and see if he responds to it. Dr. Glass.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds good to me. That's what I would do.
Hey, how can people get involved if they want to with your esports stuff?
Man, if you go to echofox.gg, so echofox one word .gg, that's you can find our information link on there, and we'll get you out information that you want to know about it. And then you can kind of look on there, look on our social media the same way: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, echofox.gg, and you can get updates on our games, where we're playing, our different teams.
Good dude, man. Congratulations. You've had, and you still continue to have, one hell of a career. I'm happy for you too. That's fun. It is, there's nothing better, is there not, than being able to enjoy work when it's really not work. That's exactly what you're doing. That's awesome.
No matter to enjoy life. I think that we live in an era where people talk what they don't have. I've been so blessed with what I do have. I've had the greatest life ever. Growing up in Bloomington, playing basketball, fishing, video games. God's been very, very good to me.
We're going to keep in touch. If you need anything from us, let us know. Thanks for the conversation, Jared. I appreciate it.
No problem, everybody. Thank you, man.
All right, take it easy. Jared Jeffries on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. That was stinking awesome.